It's us. We've stood by the fireside. We've made about 9-10 bloody videos today. My point, Mr. H. Years ago, there used to be places of work had a thing called a personnel department.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the term?
Yeah, before it became human resources.
It became then exactly human resources, which is quite a dark. For me, I find it a dark term.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
You know, like
It's
personnel is a more. What's the word?
Term. It's more friendly.
Yeah,
term.
a more genial
Yeah.
term than human resource is like something out of
Concentration.
sounds a bit Orwellian, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And well, basically, I think now people are just viewed as human resources.
Well.
And I'd like your thoughts on that.
Well, you go straight back to the that horrible documentary, and what did they term them as? Not even that. Assets to be sweated. What the fuck's that all about?
What video is that?
On that documentary about Wigan Council, the workforce is assets to be sweated.
Is that what they actually said?
Yeah.
I missed that bit.
You know, how would you feel being an asset being sweated? You know.
You know, it's
Yeah, I feel valued.
That's what happens in the world, you see. I mean, if you are of no use to anyone, no one will really give a fuck about you, whether you live or you die. Now that isn't a financial. Your family need you because they love you, but that in its essence is a selfish act because they're getting something out of you. Now, if their feelings toward you, or a loved one's feeling towards you change, you know, they're no longer getting that.
Well, in China they kick you out. If you have an industrial accident where it takes your arm off, they clod you out and you have to go and beg on streets.
Well, exactly.
No longer work for
I know, you know what I mean. As an entertainer, I know this well. I've had a couple of agents, and I've been on television, and because I haven't done as I'm supposed to do, I've been kicked to the curb, as the Americans say, and you fucked off, you know.
Quietly dry.
It's like if you have a brush that you could have had that brush 50 years, and you sweep your garden with it one day, and the fucking handle snaps off it. You don't say, well, it was a good brush. That it's straight in the fucking bin, really, and that's how people are treated. Oops, sorry, I dropped my camera then and my leg. You can prove we've actually filmed these and they're not done in an Hollywood studio and we're not actors. Point being, yeah, we're all commodities to be bought and sold. Did you know that your birth certificate, Mr. H, is just a stock? It just registers you as a stock.
I have heard that.
And there's this. Do you dispute this?
Well,
Do you think it's another conspiracy theory, Mr. H?
yeah, but I seem to be on an anti-conspiracy thing all the time, don't I? So there is some thought of it, but does it matter if your thing's in capital letters or not?
I think it's the number what's on your birth certificate. It's meant to be a number of stock.
Oh, well, I wouldn't like to say.
Well, and if anyone can fill us in, and
not literally, but
well, I'm sure that'll come at some point, hanging about with me. But yeah, we're all, whether we're registered or not, we're all items of stock to be used for various purposes, you know. But, however, if you play the game and you are compliant and you do what you're supposed to do, you will be rewarded. The more you do and the more you can do, you'll be rewarded even more, and you'll move up the ladder. And that's how it basically works.
It doesn't necessarily mean, though, that you're good at what you're doing. I mean...
Well, exactly. I mean, the old adage, it's not what you know, it's who you know, you know.
I mean, way back when, a lot of managers used to be they used to have army backgrounds. You know, they've been in army, they was used to dealing with personnel.
Yeah.
We don't have that now because we don't have national service or anything. So we send people on courses, some 30 bob course for a couple of weeks, and at the end of it they come out as a manager or a manageress. It doesn't matter what they've been doing for 2 weeks. They might have been spending it drinking tea, chewing pencils and ogling birds' tits across the thing, you know. But they come out of it as a manager, because also there's money in it. The people who run the courses, if they start saying, no, I'm refusing your certificate, there's no money for them.
It's a gravy train, isn't it?
So they'll sign them and say, yeah, they'll sign you off as you've passed it, because they need the money off the company. You get where I'm coming from with that?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of comedians who are shit, and there's some who are related to famous comedians, and they're absolutely fucking rubbish. But because of the who they're related to, they get regular work. I know ones who just play the game. Now my problem as a comedian and a worker is I've never really played the game. I've never really grovelled to agents for work. But that's what life's about, really. It's to a certain degree. Everybody's grovelled at some point or kowtowed, and I'm sure I have at some point too. But as a rule, I've kind of not. And here I am at the bottom of the ladder in society. I'm not saying because Mr H is sat at the side of me, I'm not saying he is, but I will admit to being at the kind of bottom of the ladder of society because, you know, I've never been compliant and I've never really made myself a human resource other than for myself.
You were right about that though, with it's not what you know, it's who you know. I mean, going back to council without bashing them, the number of times I tried to get on with them when I was a bricklayer, mate.
It's like the Freemasons, Roy. You have to know one. You have to be in the know.
Well, that's one of the questions they actually ask you up front. Do you know anyone who works for the council? It's actually on the form. And because I said no, and you know, didn't matter. I got qualifications coming out my arse. They weren't interested. They wouldn't even give me a chance. But if you know somebody, then they can go and say, I've had so and so come to me. What's he like? Or it's, well, his dad works for us. He's a decent guy. You know, he's good for a laugh, good work. Yeah, we'll take him on.
Yeah, close shop, innit?
Close shop. And going back to that documentary, you got the drainage guy, and he seems to be an hard grafter. And then I don't know if he's his son or his nephew, but they're definitely related because they share the same name. And he's, well, you saw it for yourself.
Oh, that bin man, was that his son?
Oh, I'm not saying it was his son.
Well, is that Ross?
Yeah, he's
related
to him. They were related. You can see it in eyes.
There's a lot of folk at council related, wouldn't there?
Of course they are.
Well, not necessarily at council. Like I said, it's endemic in society.
Working men's clubs used to be the same, the old labour clubs.
Yeah.
You know,
there's a video we can do after.
Yes. I mean, I never tried to join that merry band, and I'm sure you didn't, but apparently my father did for try and get cheap ale. It was always cheap ale in there, and he couldn't get in there.
Really? They wouldn't let him in?
Yeah, they'd take his money when they wanted him as a visitor, but when he applied for join, and after a bit he said, sorry, I'm not trying, but...
The world's all about clubs and societies, and I know conspiracy theory, but a lot of councillors are Freemasons, and a lot of big business people are Freemasons.
It's human nature to be in it.
It's a closed shop,
right? You think about it at school when you go at schoolyard. It's all about little gangs and little cliques. It starts at school, primary school. You're not playing this game, lad. You know, one of them. No, we don't want him in our gang. And it follows you that all the way until you die.
There's a saying I came across recently. It's the price for being a sheep is great boredom, but the price for being a wolf is great loneliness. Choose either with great care.
Yeah.
And it's true that, because if you're not if you're on the peripheries of things, and if you're not in the club, and because I kind of swore a couple of years ago I'd never be part of anything again, and any group, social group. Obviously, I have social groups, but I'd never be kind of part of any bigger thing. You know what I mean? I'd always do my own thing, and it's quite lonely at times. You know, to be out there on a limb, really.
On your own,
when you're not in with the merry throng, and that's it really.
Yeah, it's the same sort of thing as was it. Well, he's certainly come out with it. Is it Benito Mussolini where he said it's better to live life as a lion for one day than a lifetime as a sheep?
Did he say that? Yeah.
Well, whether he actually
coined it, but
it's attributed to him. He has said it.
Well, you know, that is a good saying, really. You know, but that's the way things are in society. It is compliancy. You are a human resource, and no matter how far you get up the ladder, you will always be a human resource, because you will never, unless you're in the right bloodline, you'll never get to the top of the ladder. Well, you can get middle way, but
what you've got to remember is, I think a bloke supposedly said this, you know, with great train robbers.
Yeah.
And one of the officers who worked case, and he said to his bloke underneath him, what you'll have to remember, however high you climb up the ladder, there's always a bigger bastard above you. And it's true, isn't it, when you come to think?
That's true, isn't it?
Who is at the top of the ladder?
Well, this is it, Mr. H. I'm sure we'll get to that at some point, but basically the video's been about, it's like it was brought to you by the Children's Television Workshop. Today's letter was A. Today's words were compliancy and human resource, which is more than a word, it's a phrase. So if you want to get on in the world, hopefully know the right people, get in with the right people, keep your nose clean, don't rock any boats, and but always bear in mind that you will always be a human resource. Thank you, Mr. H.